evening. Didn't necessarily think we were going to be talking about, hours worth of tornado warnings and a couple of different large tornadoes. So it is kind of my hope that at this point, and my belief that at this point, maybe the atmosphere is going to be really worked over, and that'll do really well for us. And while we're probably going to get some showers and thunderstorms as we head into the overnight, maybe we will not necessarily be talking about any severe weather across the Tennessee Valley, which obviously would be some good news as we head into the earliest hours of Thursday morning. So still have our tornado warning that is in effect for Jackson, that is in effect for Jackson and DeKalb counties. That is going to carry us through 12:15. So still about another 10 minutes on that tornado warning. Again, tornado warning in effect for Jackson and DeKalb counties. That is going to run until 12:15. So something we're obviously going to continue to pay attention to, something we're obviously going to continue to monitor over the next 10 minutes or so, and we'll hope that maybe this storm could pick up a little bit of speed and maybe it'll get out of here by the time we get to 12:15. Am I 100% confident in that? Not right now. So let's zoom in on this storm. Looks like we're once again bringing this storm through Henniger. Henniger literally just got hit with potentially a very large tornado just a couple of minutes ago, and it looks like Henniger could get hit once again this evening. Now, are we talking about a tornado on the ground? Probably not. We have no confirmed reports of a tornado on the ground, and at this point, the wind shear really isn't all that impressive. Still talking about a little bit of rotation as far as our velocity imagery is concerned, but the wind shear has really begun to back off, and for that reason, I didn't really anticipate that a correlation coefficient would show me anything. So, tornado warning in effect for Jackson and DeKalb counties. Looks like that's going to run until 12:15 in the morning because we are officially after midnight at this point. So that's something we're going to continue to watch. So new downstream tornado warning coming for DeKalb County. So I imagine what they're going to end up doing is taking this tornado warning and just kind of continuing it for this little bit of DeKalb County, and that'll probably get us through 12:30 or 12:45. So currently, tornado warning in effect for Jackson and DeKalb County. Maybe we'll be getting ready to drop Jackson County here within the next couple of minutes. But DeKalb County at least until 12:15, and then all indications would seem to point to the fact that tornado warning is going to be extended to include the rest of DeKalb County. Emily, if you don't mind, will you pull up the power outages map on the whatever it is you're looking at? I'm just kind of curious. What does that say for Madison County? Does that say 10,000?
Yes.
So at least 10,000 reported without power. What is the number for Jackson County?
Jackson is 600, Lauderdale is 200, and Giles is 400.
So I would imagine maybe not necessarily that Lauderdale number and maybe not even the Giles. Oh, thank you. I would anticipate the Jackson County number is probably significantly higher than 600. Tornado watch still in effect for Lauderdale, Colbert, and Franklin County. Not Lauderdale. It's been dropped for Lauderdale, Colbert, and Franklin County. I've been here a long time. Tornado watch still in effect for Giles and Lincoln counties up in southern Middle Tennessee, Limestone, Madison, Jackson, DeKalb, and Marshall counties over in northeast Alabama. That's going to run until 3 o'clock in the morning. It was originally scheduled for 11 o'clock at night. Emily, as long as we're here, I'm assuming, is this my show? Do we have a regional satellite radar product to look at? As long as we're here, we might as well just cover everything. Again, there's your power outages in Madison County, 10,000 reported without power, 600 reported in Jackson County. But I would anticipate that number is probably much, much higher. Don't mind that it's not broke or anything. I just asked Emily to switch over to a different map so that I wanted to show you guys kind of a regional view so we could get a look at that line of showers and thunderstorms that is beginning to move into northwest. That is beginning to move into the state of Mississippi. So we're just going to wait for a couple of seconds while that loads up, and eventually we get that pulled up. It won't take any more than just a couple of seconds to get that pulled up. Again, 10,000 reported without power in Madison County, 200 over in Lauderdale County. It says 600 over in Jackson County. I would anticipate that that number is much higher. Okay, thank you so much. So here's what we're talking about. Rather robust line of showers and thunderstorms directly out ahead of the cold front. The activity here, once we get to Nashville, over into Knoxville, that activity is going to continue to push to the east. If you drop to the south just a little bit, there's not a whole lot of development going on. A little bit of development here, obviously. We have the thunderstorm warnings, the severe thunderstorm warnings in effect, Memphis area. A lot of this activity is going to push to the east. I'm wondering at this point how much development happens out ahead of the cold front and what sort of development happens once we get into the state of Mississippi. And then furthermore, I continue to wonder what's going to happen once that line of showers and thunderstorms begins to move into into northwest Alabama.
So you'll have to call for them to swap back because I'm still on links 1, but I just want to point out that the National Weather Service has extended this tornado warning into DeKalb County, and this is going to run until about 1 a.m.
So I would anticipate that while this tornado warning is in effect until 1 o'clock in the morning, like Emily just said, I don't foresee how fast is the storm moving, Emily? Could you figure that out for me real quick?
30 miles per hour.
So let's just take this storm and let's assume the bulk of this storm is hanging out over.
You'll have to swap back to links 2.
I think they did.
Okay.
Let's pull this out, assuming it's moving straight to the east, maybe even a little bit to the southeast. So if we pull this out 30 miles per hour, okay, so Mentone within the next 18 minutes, Rogers in the next 15, Hammondville once again in the next 14 minutes. So while this tornado warning is in place until 1 o'clock in the morning, I honestly do not foresee it actually taking that long for this storm to continue to move through DeKalb County. So we're going to continue to watch this, obviously, as this storm continues to move through the DeKalb County area, part of North Alabama. This is obviously something we're going to continue to pay close attention to, something we're going to continue to be very mindful of, something we're going to continue to watch for development and evolution, a little bit of an uptick there within our shear rate as this storm begins to move into DeKalb County. So obviously something we want to continue to pay attention to, a tornado warned storm, whether it's producing a tornado or not, is obviously a very serious matter and something that we want to take, we don't want to take lightly. So I'm going to pull up our lightning counter as well. I want to see what kind of lightning we're dealing with within this storm. And I'm actually going to zoom out just a little bit, just because sometimes you can actually get a better idea zoomed out. So a fair amount of lightning associated with this storm. Not a ton, but there is definitely, we have seen storms tonight that have had far more lightning than what we're currently talking about over in Jackson and DeKalb County. But still, lightning is a really solid indication that we're talking about very strong, very powerful storms. A lot of this activity, you can kind of see all of this activity has moved into northwest Georgia here over the last several minutes, going several severe thunderstorm warnings, still have the one tornado warning there over in northwest Georgia. So we're going to continue to watch this. We're going to continue to pay attention to it here over the next several minutes. I really want to continue to pay attention, obviously, as it continues to push its way through far northeast Alabama. At this point, if you're in Henniger, you are probably in the clear. If you're in Valley Head, you still need to be in your tornado safe place. The storm is not going to stick around very long, okay? It's going to continue to push its way through northeast Alabama here over the next few minutes. It's going to continue to push its way out of northeast Alabama and eventually into northwest Georgia. But we're going to continue to watch this storm. We're going to continue to track it. We're going to continue to follow it. And we're going to continue to check our different radar products to see if we notice anything that would indicate a possible tornado on the ground. So, yeah, that's where we're at right now. We're looking at tornado warning in effect for DeKalb County. That is going to run until 1 o'clock in the morning. Do I think the tornado warning is probably going to be in effect until 1 o'clock in the morning? No, probably not, just because it's not going to take that long for this storm to move out of northeast Alabama and move into northwest Georgia. As a matter of fact, this storm beginning to move into Valley Head. It's going to cross the interstate here, and then it's going to move into Valley Head and eventually move into northwest Georgia. But this is it as far as current tornado warnings are concerned across North Alabama and southern Middle Tennessee. Now, we do have some stronger thunderstorms up across southern Middle Tennessee. Obviously, those things are of note. But we are dry across the Huntsville metro area. We're dry across the I-65 corridor. We are dry across northwest Alabama. As a matter of fact, the tornado watch has also been canceled for our northwest Alabama counties. Lauderdale, Colbert, Franklin County, not sitting under that tornado watch. Lawrence County, not sitting under the tornado watch. I don't think Morgan County is either. Madison, Jackson, DeKalb, and Marshall counties, however, remain under the tornado watch. And that tornado watch is supposed to be in place until 3 o'clock in the morning. We're still going to be paying attention to a line of showers and thunderstorms that is going to move through the Tennessee Valley through the earliest hours of Thursday morning. And again, my hope here would be that our environment has been really worked over and we're at this point kind of lacking the stability that, or the instability that would be required for further serious development across the area. My hope is that at this point our environment has become too stable to support any further severe thunderstorm development. So let's go back to our main area here. Let's go back to northeast Alabama. We are obviously still talking about the tornado warning that is in effect for DeKalb County, and that is going to run until 1 o'clock in the morning. But again, I don't foresee it taking that long to move through the Tennessee Valley or northeast Alabama more specifically. I don't necessarily think it is going to take that long beginning to move into Valley Head right now. And then once it gets out of Valley Head, it'll only have just a little ways to go before moving into northwest Georgia. So let's zoom in a little more on this storm. Let's look at a couple of our different radar products. A little too far there. Hammondville, just to the north, Valley Head. Obviously, we're going to be watching this part of the line here. A lot of very heavy rain, gusty winds sitting to the north of Hammondville. So we're going to continue to be focused on that line moving through the Tennessee Valley. The National Weather Service has, canceled, not the They didn't cancel the they didn't cancel the tornado warning. What they have done, though, is canceled the tornado watch for Lincoln County up in southern Middle Tennessee. They have canceled the tornado watch for Madison County, and they have canceled the tornado watch for Marshall County. So I believe that just leaves us with Jackson and DeKalb County, and then Giles County up in southern Middle Tennessee. So definitely a little bit of good news there. Again, strongest part of this storm continues to push its way through northeast Alabama. Just want to check and see about any other further updates from the National Weather Service. They're going to be talking about issuing flood warnings and different sorts of things for areas that have had a lot of rain. Okay, so let's continue to watch this as it moves through the rest of northeast Alabama, Hammondville, down into Valley Head. We're obviously talking about very heavy rain. We're talking about some very gusty winds. I want to look at our velocity imagery here. If there is any rotation at all within this storm, at this point we would be talking about very, very broad rotation. Let's look at our shear rate. Maybe a little bit of increased wind shear, but again, that tends to be somewhat common over in northeast Alabama. So this is just something that I want to continue to watch, something that I want to continue to pay attention to over the next several minutes. Again, we still have a little ways to go. Wind shear just kind of upticked there. So, and again, what wind shear really means is that we have rotation as you go up in altitude, okay? So rotation as you go up in altitude doesn't necessarily mean rotation on the ground. We're obviously not talking about a confirmed tornado, but when you're talking about an increase in wind shear, you are talking about rotation as you go up within the storm, which means that in general, the storm itself is rotating. But that doesn't necessarily mean that anything is on the ground. But still have an increase in wind shear, so it's something that's still worth paying attention to. If we look at our velocity image, at this point we're getting a lot of gray in between the green and the red. What does that mean? Well, that means there might be a little bit of rotation, but it also means that at this point, if there is rotation, we would be talking about very broad rotation across the Tennessee Valley, which is definitely some good news for our friends over in northeast Alabama, specifically our friends in DeKalb County, who I'm sure at this point are just ready for these tornado warnings to expire. Trust me, friends over in DeKalb County, I am equally as ready to be done with the tornado warnings. So still moving through Hammondville, getting ready to move into Valley Head. It is right around 12:22. Storm going to continue to traverse across DeKalb County as we head into the earliest hours of your Thursday morning. Again, that tornado warning is in effect until 1 o'clock this evening. So we're at least going to stick with you. Again, I really feel like the storm it's not moving terribly fast, but I still feel like it's going to move fast enough that it's not going to be in DeKalb County until 1 o'clock in the morning. So definitely some good news there. And again, at this point, most of our counties have been dropped from the tornado watch. So at this point, we're only talking about Jackson and DeKalb counties that are included within the tornado watch, and then Giles County up in southern Middle Tennessee. Everybody else has been eliminated from the tornado watch, which again could be another sign of good news as the additional line of showers and thunderstorms moves through the Tennessee Valley here over the next several hours into the earliest part of Thursday morning. As of right now, here's what we're looking at across the Tennessee Valley, and I want to zoom things out and kind of show you this. as of right now, okay, everybody, for the most part, everybody is dry. And we've gone over this a couple of different times. We're dry across northwest Alabama, Lauderdale, Colbert, down into Franklin County. We're dry across Lawrence County and Morgan County, Coleman County, even Limestone and Madison counties at this point, and we're even really beginning to dry out across Jackson County. Maybe a couple of isolated thunderstorms there right around Stevenson, but otherwise we are really beginning to dry out across Jackson County. Still talking about some stronger thunderstorms at this point. We're north of Lincoln County in southern Middle Tennessee, so well out of our viewing area. So stronger thunderstorm, not severe. Stronger thunderstorm in Stevenson and Jackson County, and then obviously we have our tornado warned storm in DeKalb County, which should not be sticking around that much longer. Currently moving through Valley Head, and as a matter of fact, it really looks like this storm is beginning to weaken at least a little bit. It looks like this storm kind of beginning to break up. Let's look at our lightning. I want to look at if I can get it turned on there. Still a lot of lightning within this storm, so we're still talking about a very strong thunderstorm. But it would seem to me, as we've been watching this storm here over the last several minutes, it would seem to me that maybe this storm has weakened a little bit. As a matter of fact, the powers that be over in northwest Georgia have even chosen to not go with a tornado warning over in northwest Georgia. Instead, they have chosen to go with a severe thunderstorm warning that was just issued for northwest Georgia. So, going to continue to watch this here over the next few minutes as it finally begins to push out of northeast Alabama. Eventually, DeKalb County is going to be free of any sort of watch or warning. Well, I mean, the tornado watch might stick around for a little bit, but eventually they will be free of the tornado warning. And again, this storm really looks like it's continuing to break up and look a little less impressive. Of course, we're still talking about some pockets of very heavy rain, and this is obviously something that can still be dangerous, because if by chance a tornado were to develop, it would definitely be rain wrapped. But at this point, I'm not really sure if I foresee a tornado develop even being a logical thought. There's really not a lot of wind shear here, maybe a little bit of basic wind shear. But at this point, we're not talking about a lot of wind shear. Hammondville back into Valley Head, a little bit of increase there across far eastern DeKalb County. But otherwise, nothing too terribly impressive. Radar scan just updated, but it looks like that would be kind of positioned a bit to the north, where we're not really talking about any other rotation as far as a velocity signature is concerned. So at this point, okay, we are in kind of this waiting game. We're kind of just watching and waiting as this storm continues to push out of northeast Alabama, and then eventually we would get the cancellation of the tornado warning. So that's where we're at right now. We're just going to continue to watch this storm. We're going to continue to watch as it pushes on and presses forward through northeast Alabama and eventually into northwest Georgia. Again, it's something we're going to continue to pay attention to because that's what we do. Obviously, we give all tornado warnings their due diligence, and this one is in effect for DeKalb County, and it's going to run until 1 o'clock in the morning. But again, as I kind of thought, okay, it's not going to take until 1 o'clock in the morning for this storm to move out of northeast Alabama. And again, it continues to look like this storm is weakening just a little bit. Now the back half of this storm kind of looks like it's moving through Hammondville and Valley Head. A little bit of shower and thunderstorm activity back here, but there's also no lightning back here. You can kind of see where the lightning sits and the lightning exists. As a matter of fact, the strongest part of this storm appears to be already moving into northwest Georgia. It would appear at this point we're talking about a weaker storm moving through Hammondville, finishing its journey through Hammondville and Valley Head. The lightning appears to have really ticked off. Stronger, much higher lightning counts across to the north and to the east across northwest Georgia. So still looking at this thunderstorm moving through northeast Alabama. Tornado warning remains in effect until 1 o'clock in the morning. I don't at all foresee the tornado warned storm taking that long. Again, I've been talking about that for the last couple of minutes now. We're looking at what appears to be a much weaker storm. Again, there's really not a whole lot of lightning associated with it, which would give me a really good indicator that we're talking about something that is beginning to weaken. Still, this is something we're going to continue to watch. This is something we're going to continue to pay attention to. Obviously, we're going to stick with you until the tornado warning is officially canceled. At this point, we're really beginning to move this storm out of Hammondville and out of Valley Head. And there's really not a lot of lightning associated with the section of this storm that continues to sit in northeast Alabama. So let's zoom things out again. I just want to kind of confirm and double down on the fact that while we're talking about some thunderstorms up in Jackson County, we're certainly not talking about any severe weather. My map is kind of moving into northwest Georgia at this point. So we're talking about some storms to the north of Hollywood, right around Stevenson, some heavy rain, a little bit of gusty wind, certainly talking about some thunder, minimal lightning at this point. So what we have here in Jackson County, north of Ider, we're not really talking about any severe weather there. Yes, it is a stronger thunderstorm, but we're not talking about any severe weather, which is obviously good news for our friends in Jackson County. And then it looks like a little storm developing there also in Jackson County. But again, nothing severe, northern Jackson County. So the one tornado warning that is in effect for DeKalb County, again, it's supposed to run until 1 o'clock in the morning. I don't necessarily see it running until 1 o'clock in the morning, but it's something that we're going to continue to watch. It's something that we're going to continue to pay attention to. Of course, we could get, I don't think it's going to happen, but we could get some last minute development. So we'll go back to this storm here. And again, if you notice, a lot of the higher lightning totals are already sitting in northwest Georgia. The lower lightning counts are currently sitting in northeast Alabama, which I do think is a bit of good news. It's a sign that this storm is weakening. It's a sign that whatever is left of this storm is really beginning to fall apart. So we're going to continue to watch these storms here over the next several minutes. I'm certainly not going to leave you while there's a tornado warning in effect. I would certainly never do that, just because you never know what can happen. So I want to stick with you. I want to continue to monitor this with you. Again, I don't foresee the tornado warning sticking around much longer, but until the tornado warning officially goes away, I'm going to be with you because that's what I do. That's my job, and I certainly love what I do. As a matter of fact, the National Weather Service here is going to continue the tornado warning, but it doesn't look like it is going to be around very long. Just trying to leave or read the information here that they have. And it looks like it is just going to be at least continued through at least until it moves out of northeast Alabama. So here's Valley Head. If we were to drop to the south a little bit, you would see that we are much quieter. We're going to continue to watch this storm, something I obviously want to continue to pay attention to, something I obviously want to continue to be mindful of. Though, again, it does look like this storm is really beginning to weaken. It looks like this storm, at this point, the rotation, any sort of increased wind shear has really moved out of northeast Alabama. So, you know, while we're still in the tornado warning, I think it is safe to say that we are probably getting really close to being in the clear. And that's something that obviously you're happy about at home. And that's obviously something that I'm happy about here. We continue. If we could flip it over to the other weather computer real quick, I'm going to look at these maps kind of right along with Emily. I'm going to see what that update is real quick. Okay, so here's what we're continuing to watch this evening. Line of showers and thunderstorms back off to the west. But if we look here, okay, if we look, it looks like a lot of this activity kind of has a northeasterly track to it, which is definitely some good news because that would keep it out of North Alabama and southern Middle Tennessee. But I still think that as this cold front moves through the Tennessee Valley, as we head into the early hours of Thursday morning, not to say that we're not currently in the early hours of Thursday morning, but as we continue to move through the early hours of Thursday morning, not to say we couldn't have some development. Will you go over to the power outages? As long as we're continuing to hang out here, I still have a really hard time believing that only 600 people are without power in Jackson County. If only 600 people are without power in Jackson County, but 1,000 of them are without power in Lauderdale County, Jackson County has a really good infrastructure. Maybe they do. 10,000 customers reportedly without power in Madison County. And again, I wouldn't be surprised if that number is also much higher. Sometimes these numbers are underdone a little bit, so I actually wouldn't be the least bit surprised if that number is much higher. So let's go back to the regional radar just real quick. Okay, so what we're looking at here, again, not a whole lot of wind shear. Whatever wind shear does exist, whatever impacts to this storm that do exist are currently hanging out over in northwest Georgia, which is certainly some good news for us. We're talking about a little bit of rain, maybe a little bit of lightning over in northeast Alabama, but at this point, it looks like this storm is really beginning to weaken. Looks like this storm is really beginning to fall apart, which again is definitely some good news for us across North Alabama and southern Middle Tennessee. So we're going to continue to watch. We're going to continue to pay attention here over the next few minutes. We're at least going to stick with you until the tornado warning has officially moved out of northeast Alabama. And I have not seen any indications yet that the tornado warning has been canceled or allowed to expire or otherwise. So we're going to stick with you. Again, we're going to continue to watch. We're going to continue to monitor. And then as we head into the later part of Thursday morning and Thursday afternoon, we're eventually going to really begin the assessment of any damage that may have occurred across the Tennessee Valley. And we know that there is, in fact, a little bit of damage across northeast Alabama, just based on different reports that we have seen here over the last several minutes. So, tornado warning remains in effect for not Jackson County. Tornado warning remains in effect for DeKalb County. That tornado warning is going to run until 1 o'clock in the morning. But again, the main part of this storm is really beginning to move into northwest Georgia and out of northeast Alabama. So that's something we're definitely going to be excited about. Looks like we have some, potentially some trees down on Montesano. Those are really good pictures. There are some pictures in Teams. If we could potentially get those, I would love to show those. Apparently we have some trees down on Montesano. I'm not sure if that's Montesano Boulevard or what that is, but I do have some pictures of trees down on Montesano. So, continuing to follow the tornado warning. We're going to continue to follow the tornado warning because the tornado warning is in effect until 1 o'clock a.m.
It's been canceled. And
Emily just said the tornado warning has been canceled, which is definitely some good news. I'm very excited about that. So yeah, it looks like we will just be canceling the last tornado warning in DeKalb County, and they went ahead and canceled the tornado warning in DeKalb County. So let's zoom things out. Let's look at the Tennessee Valley as a whole. I'm not going to stick around much longer. We are quiet across almost all of North Alabama, southern Middle Tennessee. At this point, our focus is going to kind of begin to transition. Emily and I are, of course, going to discuss what we think is going to happen as we head deeper into the overnight. Obviously, we're already into the earliest hours of Thursday morning, and obviously we have more thunderstorms that are going to move through the Tennessee Valley. So that's something Emily and I are going to discuss. I believe Kanisha is mouthing to me that she would like me to toss to her. So I'm going to go ahead and toss to Kanisha Dees here for a brief moment.
Yes, thank you so much, Jordan. So earlier this evening, we received a report from a viewer about missing children in Prospect, about 4 missing children in Prospect on Bethel Road. And we reached out to the Giles County Sheriff's Office, and they say that the children were safe. Just for anyone who was listening and who was concerned about the reports of those children, Giles County Sheriff's Office said the children were safe elsewhere. The home that they were in was damaged by the storm, and they were not sure if the kids were home. But thankfully, we can confirm that the children are safe by the Giles County Sheriff's Office. We also, if we are able to pull up those pictures of those downed trees that were near Montesano, I don't know if we have those yet, if we can pull those up. But anyway, some of our crew members were out. We're waiting on those pictures, but some of our crew members were out around in the area, and they were able to get some video of downed trees off of I believe it was Wellman Avenue is what they shared with us. Wellman Avenue near Montesano. There are about 4 pictures, so we're still waiting on those pictures to come in. But again, I just want to reiterate the Giles County situation with the 4 children. We received a report earlier this evening that there were missing children, about 4 missing children on Bethel Road in Prospect. And the Giles County Sheriff's Office said that the children were safe elsewhere. The home was damaged by storm, and they were not sure if the kids were home at the time. Thankfully, they were found safe. We know that this has been a very active evening of severe weather, and we'll continue to monitor what we see on the National Weather Service here in Huntsville. It's been a very active night, and I think Jordan is ready to go back on air. Over to you, Jordan.
Yeah, we're not going to stick around much longer, obviously. We are done with tornado warnings across North Alabama, southern Middle Tennessee. We are dry at this point across much of the Tennessee Valley. There we go. At this point, we are done with tornado warnings across North Alabama, southern Middle Tennessee, maybe a little bit of rain across Jackson County, still maybe a little bit of rain across DeKalb County, but at this point, I'm not going to stick around with you much longer. It has obviously been a very long evening and a very long night. but we are much calmer across the Tennessee Valley. Want to reiterate that we still have a line of showers and thunderstorms that is expected to move through over the next several hours, and that's something that Emily and I are going to continue to pay attention to and watch and further evaluate to see what, if any, impact that's going to have on the Tennessee Valley. But for now, we are free of any severe thunderstorm warnings. We are free of any tornado warnings. So I think, at least for the time being, I'm going to put this night to bed. I'm going to thank you so much for sticking around and watching and following along with our coverage. Again, I know it's been a very long night. Maybe some of you have been coming and going, but regardless, I thank you so much for that. Your viewership obviously means a lot to me. I appreciate that you trust myself and my team with this valuable information. So with that, I think I will go and send you back to regular programming. We were not supposed